Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We are reading the Bhagavatam again here in the holiest of holy places. Matchless Gifts, 22nd Avenue, in the presence of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And it's always an honor and privilege to be here and to be in His Sangha and association in this holy place.
Okay. It's Canto 4, Chapter 28, Text 56.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 56. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In that city, the material body, there are 5 gardens, 9 gates, 1 protector, 3 apartments, 6 families, 5 stores, 5 material elements, and 1 woman who is lord of the house. Text 57. My dear friend, the 5 gardens are the 5 objects of sense enjoyment, and the protector is the life air, which passes through the 9 gates. The 3 apartments are the chief ingredients, fire, water, and air. The 6 families are the aggregate total of the mind and 5 senses. Purport. The 5 senses that acquire knowledge are sight, taste, smell, sound, and touch. And these act through the 9 gates, the 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, 2 nostrils, the genitals, and 1 rectum. These holes are compared to gates in the walls of the city. The principal ingredients are earth, water, and fire, and the principal actor is the mind, which is controlled by the intelligence, buddhi. Buddhi, interesting word. When we were growing up, my mum was forever saying, "You got no buddhi." Okay. In general, not just me, although I was included in that.
Positive affirmation.
It was her favourite word, amongst others. So that's interesting. But it's interesting when it's broken down like that. The body, it's just a thing, and it's got holes in it, and it's just like a carrier bag, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bag.
Yeah.
Some places call it a flesh bag, some a stool bag. Yeah, but it's a bag. Skin bag.
Some people say old bag.
Old bag. That's just for particular people.
Oh. Anyway, that's what I got to say.
Yeah, interesting. I was a little surprised Prabhupada didn't get into the chief ingredients, which are the what are they called? The doshas. Yeah, doshas. Earth, water, earth, air, and fire. This says earth, water, and fire. Oh, that's interesting. The principal ingredients are earth, water, and fire. I thought it was kapha, pitta, vata. So I would have thought it would be, that's interesting, yeah. Okay. Yeah, chief ingredients. Of course, the body is predominantly water, 80% water, 75. Okay, that's interesting. Guess I have no buddhi either.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Text 58. The 5 stores are the 5 working sensory organs. They transact their business through the combined forces of the 5 elements, which are eternal. Beyond all this activity is the soul. The soul is a person and an enjoyer in reality. However, because he is now hidden within the city of the body, he is devoid of knowledge. Purport. The living entity enters the material creation with the aid of the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether, and thus his body is formed. Although the living entity is working from within, he is nonetheless unknown. The living entity enters the material creation But because he is bewildered by the material energy, he appears to be hidden. The bodily conception of life is prominent because of ignorance. Nava buddhyate. Intelligence is described in the feminine gender. But owing to her prominence in all activities, she is described in this verse as Adishaha, the controller. The living entity lives by means of fire, water, and food grains. It is through the combination of these three that the body is maintained. Consequently, the body is called Prakriti, material creation. All the elements gradually combine to form flesh, bone, blood, and so on. All these appear as various apartments. It is said in the Vedas that the digested foods are ultimately divided into three. The solid portion becomes stool. The semi-liquid portion turns into flesh. The liquid portion turns yellow and is again divided into three. One of these liquid portions is called urine. Similarly, the fiery portion is divided into three, and one is called bone. Out of the five elements, fire, water, and food grains are very important. These three are mentioned in the previous verse, whereas sky, ether, and air are not mentioned. This is all explained in the Bhagavad Gita 13:20. Prakritim purusham chaiva vidyanadi ubhavapi vikkarams cha gunams chaiva vidi prakriti sambhavan. Material nature and the living entity should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Prakriti, material nature, and Purusha, the living entity, are eternal. When they both come in contact, there are different reactions and manifestations. All of them should be considered the results of the interaction of the three modes of material nature. So it's quite a deep and detailed purport, especially the division of food when it's digested. All the different divisions weren't given as far as I could tell, because it's divided into three. The solid, the semi-liquid, and liquid. So we got the solid and the semi-liquid. Then you got the liquid portion turns yellow and is again divided into three. So then you have three liquid portions, of which one of them is urine. And then there's a fiery portion, and that's divided into three. So we still got two left over from the previous, and then you got another three. And one of those is called bone. So it's like four aspects of the divisions that we didn't quite get, but
it's okay, because what we heard was enough.
Yeah. So maybe enough for some, maybe not enough for others. Maybe there's an inquisitiveness to understand. What are all the others? Okay. Which means that you could go and search that out and look that up and try to find it somewhere. Yeah, and then Prabhupada also mentions that these sky and ether are not mentioned in the previous one. That's what I was questioning. But then he goes on to say that food grains, water, and fire are the base elements, so these three, and he's using food grains instead of earth. So I guess the understanding is that food grains constitute earth, and that's how the body is comprised or composed, situated, like that. And the other thing was, yes, that in the previous verse, the previous verse that Bhava Bhakti read, it said that there is one woman who is the Lord of the house. And Prabhupada picks up on that one, on the female aspect at the beginning, at this purport, and but intelligence. Okay, so intelligence is the female. Intelligence is the woman who's meant to be the Lord of the house. Nava buddhyate. Okay, interesting. Bodily conception of life is prominent because of ignorance. So ignorance is nava buddhyate. But intelligence is described as feminine gender. and it's Adishaha. Yeah, Nava Buddhite becomes subjected, does not become subjected to knowledge, and Adisha is here. Oh, controller. So Adisha. Yeah, Isha, Ishwara. Okay, so the intelligence is meant to be the boss, but unfortunately, the mind and the senses are often the boss in the bodily situation.
All right. I wanted to interrupt this session for something.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Because I was just sensing that Prabhupada's sitting here in this sacred place, and because I'm reading from Veda base, and then they've actually put a header on the top, because one Prabhupada disciple left his body, Ekanath Prabhu, and his service is very relevant to what we're doing now. Ekanath Prabhu. He left on Vijaya Ekadashi. He suddenly left this world from heart failure in Sydney Ridge, North Carolina. He did a marvelous service preserving Srila Prabhupada's books, tapes, photos, etc., and maintained the Bhaktivedanta Veda base. So just, first of all, we should obviously acknowledge passing of a great soul, and he is to have such a great spiritual master. I'll actually put these two pictures, because there's one picture of him as a very young boy with Prabhupada, and then there's one present day. So I'll put them both actually on the screen while I'm speaking, because I think it's very important to acknowledge this and the fact that he was doing this. I mean, any service, but in particular because we're reading here for Prabhupada's purports, that he was actually, that was his service to preserve the books and tapes and the photos for the Bhaktivedanta.
Yeah, Bhaktivedanta archives in North Carolina he was overseeing. Yeah, I interacted with him a few times, met him also once, maybe twice. I did see that. It's very, very sad. But as someone coined the phrase a few years ago, I think when 2020 came, they said that this was going to be the decade of tears or something like that, right? Because it probably is going to be, time when many people are going to be departing. And of course, it turned out to be a decade of tears right from the start because COVID hit. But yeah, it's very important service, and like he's the one who initiated the Veda base idea, compiling all this together and then keeping it going. So, which is such a useful, powerful tool that the disciples of Prabhupada back in the day, they certainly didn't have such easy access to all of Prabhupada's books, all of Prabhupada's letters, so many different, his lectures, his morning walks, his room conversations, everything, as well as all the pictures, all the paintings, all of these things that are kept in the Bhaktivedanta archives, but on the Veda base, at least all the letters, and then books by Srila Prabhupada's disciples are all there. I mean, there's so much there. It's incredible. So thank you, Ekanath Prabhu.
Yes.
Ekanath Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I think we'll conclude there. Thank you all very much for tuning in. As usual, don't forget to like,
Subscribe,
share.
comment.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.